Hello, peopleses! Alright, I know what you're thinking. Fishy, how are you going to expect me to believe that a single block could secure the longevity of an entire game/franchise? Well, my friend, as ironic as it may sound in a video about Minecraft, I'm gonna ask you to think outside the box. Let's get right to the point. The block I'm referring to is the piston, and by extension, the sticky piston. There are a few reasons why I believe that the piston represents the possible salvation of Minecraft, which, as of recent, has come under quite a bit of scrutiny regarding its development. I'm sure you've heard things like, how can modders make so much more content? Or, wild update, more like mild update, or literally anything that has to do with chat reporting. I believe that a lot of these issues have solutions that can be clearly seen when you look at the development of the piston back before beta 1.7. On the surface, it's really an unremarkable story. Back in the early days of Minecraft, a user named Hippoplatymus made a mod that added pistons that could push or pull blocks when powered. Mojang liked the implementation, and after some mechanical tweaks and a spiffy new texture, they incorporated his code into the game. Then, the piston revolutionized Redstone. And for some people, the way they play the game in general. Pistons were the gateway to automating almost anything in Minecraft. Before that, the only way of changing the position of a block was to do it yourself. The story of the piston has two parts, the implementation of a mod and the revolution of the game. Each of these are near impossible to recreate today, due to Mojang's justified fear of consequences and the sheer size of the game. Mojang has stated that they do not want to implement mods into vanilla for various reasons, whether that be possible IP/copyright issues, dealing with the difficulties of changing the code to work within the game while keeping the functionality, or simply not wanting to set a precedent where people begin to harbor an entitled expectation for their ideas to be added to the game. While this is understandable, I wholeheartedly disagree with their stance. See, I grew up during the golden era of modding, back when Crazycraft and Lucky Block dominated YouTube and the Minecraft community as a whole. I could and probably will go more into detail about the old modding scene, but for now, I'll just say that I'm willing to bet that the idea of if a mod was good enough, it might be added to the actual game was not only a great motivation for people to create modded content, but also instilled a wonder in players about any feature they saw others mess around with. You can clearly see this in the phenomenon that is the Aether, where, as you probably know, many people experienced being tricked into believing that it was actually in vanilla. Being willing to collaborate with your community to add content to a game which plans on updating for, quote, 50+ years is a necessity if you want it to remain successful. Mojang has attempted to do so at some points, mainly through their feedback site, where you can pitch any idea to Mojang and the community can vote on concepts. However, this site has practically died due to lack of maintenance, bugs like disappearing posts, and the fact that many of the features that Mojang marked as announced have been stuck in limbo for years without any update or estimated time of arrival. As of Minecraft Live 2022, Mojang once again has stated their intention to collaborate with the community for 1.20. However, they were very unclear as to what that would look like, and it's entirely possible that they were only referring to taking feedback when in relation to the title of the update. I'm not a coder, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that porting a mod into vanilla is simpler than adding a feature from scratch. Not just because a lot of the code work is already done, but all of the time and resources that have to be put into design and implementation of the features is saved, since depending on how popular the mod is, it has already been tested, vetted, and approved by the end users of the product, the players. You know for sure what their opinions about what you're adding are before ever even announcing it. Pistons are arguably the most important redstone component other than redstone itself. It is the only block that can change the Minecraft world in a precise manner. This unlocked seemingly limitless possibilities to the players of the time. Nowadays, it's harder to achieve such an effect with a single feature, mainly because Minecraft has already cemented its methods with which the player is meant to interact with the world. It is also difficult to achieve this when balancing needs to be taken into consideration. Pistons are expensive to make and they can only push 12 blocks at a time. Limitations like this are difficult to implement nowadays without pushback from the community. I mean, look at the Elytra. Despite being extremely powerful as a glider, people insisted on giving it a fuel source to turn it into an infinite flight device. Now, It makes every other mode of transport practically useless by comparison. Even now, people insist on wanting the elytra to be combinable with the chestplate, effectively removing what little downsides it has left. Mojang is stuck in a horrible position, where it needs to either give people these features exactly as they ask for them, and risk ruining other parts of the game, or put hard limitations to their features, and risk people complaining about not being able to do everything they want to as easily as they want to. I feel like more often than not, they've made the wrong call when it comes to this choice. The piston, in my eyes, represents the perfect implementation of a feature. It gives way to new possibilities, yet it has its hard limitations and costs of use. Using it in any effective manner has a learning curve, and yet is conceptually intuitive. It strikes a perfect balance, and I believe that is the key. The game is unbalanced, and the more new features get added, the harder it will become to rebalance what's already there. If you ask me, Mojang needs to rework the game it already has. Put limitations on exploits like mending villagers' rockets and iron farms that remove necessities of other features like the enchanting table, horses and minecarts, and mining for iron. Then build atop that fortified foundation. The piston never made other parts of the game unnecessary. The piston was a community idea that someone cared enough about to actually code themselves. The piston can teach Mojang what they need to relearn to save Minecraft.